everybody. It's Lisa with Junk Journal Gems. We are starting our new project. I'm so very excited. I had a request from our giveaway for the 200 subbies. I had a request to please do a journal that was book themed. So, and the suggestion had been made for Jane Austen. So I searched and found a Jane Austen kit and a couple of accompanying kits that go so very well together from Art Smart Crafts. And I'm going to put in the description box below a link to her Etsy, as well as the coupon code that you can also use to get the very same digital kits. They're so pretty, and the images on these are going to work out so well, I think, for this journal. And she was very kind to share a coupon code with us. Last I was on the site, was also having a sale. So it's just super fantastic that she was gracious. I said that I do have some newer subscribers to my channel. I shouldn't say newer subscribers, but some of you who are new to making journals that might appreciate having a discount as you're trying to build up your stash of supplies. So she passed that along to us. I purchased from her, let me think a second here, 4 different kits. The main kit that I purchased was the Jane Austen Junk Journal kit, and I printed them off in 2 sets. This one here is printed on Red River paper at 100%, or at what my printer will do as full page. You still get a border around it. It's just how my printer happens to print. And I printed the same kit off at, I have to cheat and look, I think at 85%, because of the cover that I'll be using. I'm going to make 2 different journals with 2 different kinds of covers. So depending upon what you have available to you, you'll be able to learn along no matter what kind of cover that you are able to do, hopefully. In the meantime, as we go through this process, if you have some specific questions for your needs or are looking for suggestions, please feel free to add a question in the comment box. I'm sure not only I will have suggestions, but other subbies will as well. So let's get going on this. The main one I said is the Jane Austen Junk Journal kit. So that's the one that we will go through first. I just had this one on top because I was trying to figure out what size. But I printed one kit on one side and then another kit on the opposite side, both from Art Smart Crafts. This one with the ladies on them is the Jane Austen Junk Journal kit. On the back of that, I printed, she's got a, what is it called? Lace one? Yeah, I think it's called lace, that I printed on the opposite side. So that's this image. And there's a lot of really pretty writing space. And what I also loved is this already looks like a really old book that has been used and someone's tried to repair. So I just love that. So that's Jane Austen, and the lace one still has ladies on it. But these images of these ladies, I am just crazy about. There's the lace side. Oops, I must have done the opposite. No, I printed one with lace on both. Or maybe not. That might be from the Jane Austen. Love that. So there's even some lined areas and some beautiful flowers that go along. But I love how it looks so old. Look at this beautiful gown. So that is amazing. Very pretty. imagine what if we still dress like this today? What a pain in the neck that would be, huh? As I sit here in shorts and a t-shirt. We've come a long way with her fan and her gloves. Beautiful. Very pretty flowers. I think, wouldn't these be like orange blossoms or cherry blossoms? Looks like gilding, and I was amazed in printing this at how much that still looks like gold gilding as it's printed. So that's pretty cool. Then in that same Jane Austen junk journal kit, she's got some ephemera in there also. So you have a cameo here, a heart, a flower, postcard. Here's a piece that you can use as a pocket, some other flags and tags. So that will be fun. There's some more labels and tags, pockets. This one's got tickets. Now some of these, and this one, I think I may have shrunk this one down a little bit. You may need to play a bit with the percentage of size in your printing, so it's the size that you think you'll want to use. And this is just, I printed lace on both sides. I didn't even show you this one. So sorry. Whipping through this. And this is the ephemera from that kit. More pockets and envelopes and tags. Bookmarks. You could use these as flags. You know, whatever works for you. Just because something is designed a particular way doesn't mean that's how you have to use it. Now this kit of hers is, I think it's called Jane Austen Ladies. I did shrink these down. I think each one of the images, as the kit will come up when you download it, each of the images takes up a whole page. So what I did was I just decreased the size as I saved the image, and then I was able to print multiple on a page. So these I'm intending to use as journaling cards or tucks and pockets, or we'll use maybe some for tags. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what strikes our fancy. Just love these though. As soon as I saw this kit, I was like, oh my goodness, that's it. And this kit is called Lace and Flowers. I had to get this one when I saw it because I just thought it went perfectly with this. And then I printed this kit on two sides. So we'll be able to mix and match our pages throughout the book. I just love these. Look at that. Gosh, so pretty. All right, so these are the pages that we're going to be using in the kit. I'm going to set this one aside. This is my 100% one, and I have an envelope. When I cut up the ephemera, do the fussy cutting, I'll be putting that in there. And I cheated and wrote 100% on here just so I could easily identify. And when I talk about making two different kinds of covers, the 100% one, I'm going to use a large envelope that I'll fold in half, and I think I'm going to coffee stain this fabric. I think will go so nicely with the kit that I'll somehow use this with the cover. So you find a piece of fabric, or you don't have to use fabric with a big envelope. You can use, you could even use the Jane Austen Ladies as almost a full page size and use them as a cover as well. So there's options galore. So this is the 100% one. Then here's the same items printed out, and with this I fussy cut the ephemera pieces. So all that's been cut up already. and all tucked away, so I hopefully don't lose anything. But like I said, these are printed out at 85%. And I want to use these in a old Reader's Digest, but I thought this cover would go well. I'm not completely sure what I'm going to do on the cover yet. I debated doing that, but then I discovered, look at how lovely that will make a end paper. I think this has to be end paper. It's screaming it for me. So that's what that'll be. So I'm still thinking about what I'll do here. But this is the one that we'll start working on. So our first step when you're working with a hardcover book is we've got to cut out the signature block. And I've done this before. I've got to find my craft knife. Here we go. I just have one of these. You can get these at a craft store. I think you can even get them at a hardware store, which might even, it might be where I got mine actually. At the time, my son worked at Ace Hardware, and I probably got it at a discount. So I just go through, let me make sure you can see this okay. I just go through, and what you want to be sure, I'm going to stand up, is you need to make sure that you're not cutting through your cover itself. So I shouldn't recommend this because I certainly don't want anyone cutting themselves. But I tend to stick my finger or thumb in here to hold this away a little bit. Now, here's another pointer. Reader's Digest books, for whatever reason, I don't know what they make them out of, but this piece of the spine here oftentimes breaks. I don't have the other one. I had another one out that I was debating using, but as they get old, sometimes these get brittle and they start breaking off. So I don't think I'm going to be keeping the spine, but I'm still going to be careful to keep it on there for now, because I'm not sure if I'll just reinforce it or cut it off completely. Right now, I just want to get the book plate, or the signature block out. So I just cut through, and usually these Reader's Digest books cut pretty easily. You do not have to use a Reader's Digest book. You just get whatever book. If you have an old book already, use that. If you have a old novel you're done reading and you're not going to gift it on to somebody else or donate it to Goodwill or keep it on your shelf, repurpose it. Now, some people get a little squeamish about, just are not comfortable in cutting up a book, and I completely respect that. I had a problem doing that when I first started. And when I first started, all the books that I made, all the journals that I made, see, it was that easy. And then you can use this for glue pages. You can use these for collage, because these pages of the Reader's Digest tend to they yellow pretty easily. I don't think they're the best quality, but it still serves a good purpose. But where was I? So not everybody's comfortable doing that. The first books that I made were all kind of the soft cover type, using an envelope. That's a great way to get started. So I'm just going to set this aside because I tend to refer back to it as I do my next step. So here's what I mean by that. I did a little research online to see if in the Georgian period, which is when Jane Austen was from, I've also seen it referenced to as Regency, so I don't know what the difference is. But I wanted to see how books were printed, if they had the rough kind of torn edges, or were they cut crisply. And what I learned is that actually it depended on the wealth of the person buying the book. Books at that time were all handmade. So If you were wealthier, a lot of the wealthy people wanted all of their book covers to look similar and to be bound a particular way. They may have had the gilding around the edges, and therefore they would have likely been clean cut. Someone who was purchasing a book who maybe had limited funds might have had the torn edges, and the cover might not have been quite as fancy. So I was like, what do I do? I think for my purposes, the last book that I did had torn edges, so I'm just kind of feeling clean cut edges, so that's what I'm going to do. You do whatever you feel you want for your journal. Okay, so here's my heavy duty animal. And I tend to turn it this way because I am very right-handed. Let me make sure you can see. Ooh, I'm going to try to back you out a little bit. Close your eyes. Okay, this will let you see a little better, hopefully. All right, so all that I do is I take one at a time because sometimes they print out a little bit differently, and even printing front to back, it may not, let me see, yeah, they're not even Steven. So you want to maybe do it one by one. You can try doing more than one. I have done that before, but in order to make the pages even later on, you'll see what I will probably end up having to do is once I have all the signature pages together in their little bunches, then I may end up doing some cleanup around the edges. And I'll show you what I mean later. It'll make more sense. So this all has cut the white off around the edges here, but I want to make sure on the opposite side, oh, see down here, we've got a little more. Just cut a little dab off, and that one's good to go. I'm going to make a separate pile over here. I have dry hands. Hazard with paper crafting, dry hands. Okay. And I'm sorry this isn't more exciting, but I wanted you to see the repetition of what I'm doing and to be able to learn along for those of you who are new to journal making. And for those of you who aren't, just either fast forward or you can skip the rest of the episode altogether. I'm not gonna go much beyond prepping the signatures in this video. Oh my gosh, I just can't grab these pages today. Whew, there. Well, plus not only do I handle a lot of paper in my hobby, but also my job. So it's just no winning. That's okay. The win of this is making the journals. I was chuckling with my neighbor lady. She was out walking her dog, and when he sees critters and things outside, he has this, it embarrasses her, so I find it funny. Her dog is a miniature schnauzer, and so he just looks like a little old man. He's all serious business in the way he walks, but he, in their walk, saw two fawns. And so he starts screeching and squealing. He has this really high-pitched squeal when he sees people or dogs or apparently deer. And he was down the road screeching and squealing. So by the time she came by our house, she was a little embarrassed about how he was behaving. I think it's funny. He's cute. try. I'm going to live on the edge a little. I'm going to try. I'm holding this up to the light so I can see how these match up. We'll do 2 at a time and just see what happens. Worst comes to worst, all I got to do is either trim more off, or if it's really bad, just print off more pages. My printer, my goodness, one of these days I'm going to get a new printer that is more suitable to this craft, because when I print off DigiKits, it takes a lifetime. It's a inkjet printer. What is it? It's a Canon inkjet. It's nothing fancy. And it takes forever. Okay, let's see. There's a little on the right-hand side on this side. Same on the opposite, so it actually matched up pretty well. We'll just shave off a hair. Perfect. And the more you make journals, the more used to doing this you'll get. Sometimes I use my tear ruler and just have really raggedy edges if I'm looking for more of a rustic, grungy look. But I think if Jane Austen could have chosen, I think she would have preferred having neatly cut edges. I don't know that for a fact. I have a, Pant is the one who requested having the Jane Austen novel as the next project. And just as coincidence should have it, I have started reading. I have a big, thick book of all of the works of Jane Austen, and there's a really good piece at the beginning of it that talks about Jane Austen and her life. And I also watched, what's the gal's name? She's a lady that does a lot of things on PBS about aristocratic life in England. And she did a piece on Jane Austen. Okay, see, now this one really went wonky. Yeah, she did a piece on Jane Austen, and it was really interesting because she takes you to homes that Jane Austen lived in. Now here I'm leaving some of the white because I don't want the height to go awry. I will just ink that and you won't even know. Okay, so I'm not going to cut 2 at a time anymore, and that's the reason why. But it's really kind of sad to me that Jane Austen, while she was alive, because of the simple fact that she was a woman, wasn't able to really have public credit for her works. And from what I could tell, Pride and Prejudice at that period really did well, but because of the deal that she had with the publisher, she hardly got anything from the publication. The publisher made out like a bandit. It makes me sad for Jane. We're getting there. Bear with me. Working as fast as I can. love the green hues in here. It's got all sorts of yumminess. Art Smart Craft had some other kits too that were really, really nice. Oh, there's one more kit that I got. I've been looking for a butterflies kit that had some lighter colors, maybe some more pastels, and Art Smart Craft did, so I did some fussy cutting of butterflies as well. I printed this one at full size, I believe, and then I printed a bunch of them in tiny size too. So those will be fun to use. I have them on my desk. I haven't even put them away yet. So I'll probably use some of those butterflies in the journal just to give you an idea of some of the things that I'll probably go around and collect in my craft room to use for the journal, or journals in my case, since I'm making two, is a lot of the already made ephemera that I have wouldn't be appropriate for this period. Not that a person has to stick to a period, but I'm just kind of wanting to be semi-true to the period. So I'm probably going to embellish with a lot of natural kinds of things like flowers and butterflies. And, they certainly would have had ribbon and lace then. So I've got some pressed ferns that I might use, and I'm gonna go over to our neighbors. I hope they don't mind. I don't think he will. They've got a whole bunch of ferns in between our places, and I'm gonna go and take some pieces off their ferns to press. I haven't done that for a while, and my fern supply is running low. But I would even stamp with this, because stamping would have been very similar to how they printed books then. So, and they used, I don't have one, but how they melted wax and did the wax seals? That was definitely something of the time. I don't have anything like that, but if you do, that would be very appropriate. Very nice. Ink pens, so like I think I have some stamps that look like ink splats. So you think of Jane Austen writing at her writing box and splatting her ink. If any of you have ever written with an ink pen, a fountain pen, I mean, every time I do, I creep up on the nib, and I always end up getting ink stains on my finger. I think a lot of us who write with fountain pens end up with that. So I have the assumption in my mind that Jane Austen, when she was writing very regularly, would have had permanent ink stains on her fingers. If any of you have any ideas for these journals, just please share. And I hope you will join us. Gosh, look at that. I just love these. So exciting. I went with DigiKits for the most part here. We'll see how full that makes our signatures for the book cover. But in case someone is new and hasn't gotten into tea or coffee staining yet, or coffee dyeing, I thought it might make more sense for you to print off digikits that already look like they've been coffee stained. Another option, if you don't have coffee stain paper, is on Amazon. You can buy paper that looks aged. All right, I shouldn't have thrown those out, but I've got so many scraps right now. Corey Dama, if you're ever watching, just close your eyes. In fact, I should pull those back out because what I like to use those for is to make snippet strips. That's like the backing of the snippet strip. All right, so first let's fold one and see how it will fit in our cover. It's simple as can be. Just take it and fold it. Some people use and you certainly can use why am I having trouble with my words again? Bone folder. Oh, that'll be perfect because I like to put things around the edges, lace and things, so that size will be great. Okay, let's just keep going. We are on a roll. So I'm making a pile of each type of paper so that I will be able to readily mix these up. Now the first two I folded differently. Got lace on the outside. This one you got lace on the inside. So here we'll go lace on the outside. That way everything doesn't look too repetitive. Lace on the outside, lace on the inside. But if you prefer something different, you can do what you like. Lace on the outside. Lace on the inside. I think it's going to be fun. Lace on the outside. And I don't remember if I said this already, but I did mention that the brand of paper that I order and use in my journals is Red River paper. You can just Google Red River paper, and I order directly from the company. I don't even know where you can get it otherwise. This particular paper that I'm using, what I most often use for the pages that somebody would write on is 32-pound paper. For the ephemera, I was talking and I mixed up. Okay, now we got to do the other two with the legs on the outside. For the ephemera, I tend to print that on, what is that? 22-pound paper or something like that. A little bit lighter because I'm gluing it down, and I try to be mindful of how thick I'm making things because 32-pound paper is a little thick. Okay, now here's another one. I'm going to quick remedy this white line at the top. Bear with me. Had to get rid of it or it would have bothered me. I need the ladies on the outside. And the lady on the inside. Okay, now these are just the lace ones. There's, I think, 2 of these. Oh, look at that yumminess. I love how it looks like there's crumpled book pages behind it. So fun this is gonna be. Okay. Then here are the lace and flowers. So this, it doesn't matter because there's lace and flowers on both sides. Why did I feel like I'm doing this crooked? Because I was. And both these journals I will be selling. I'm listing them on my Etsy. All right, so now what I want to do is, where's my cover again? Here's the hard part of guessing. See, here's how much I have, but you have to remember when you're doing this that you're going to be filling this full of ephemera too. But I do think I need some more pages because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, oops, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 pages. Yeah. So hold that thought. I am going to grab some other papers. Okay, I thought what I'd supplement that with is what I was talking about is the paper I got on Amazon. It's called Gift Boutique, 120 vintage antique. I can't read what it says. Double-sided paper. So that's what that looks like. And here's the SKU label. I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty small. If I remember, I'll try to put a link to this in the description box also. But let's grab out some of these and just see how that looks. And the other thing to note in here is not all the pages are the same. There's different patterns and colors of this as well. So I'm going to try to grab out from different areas in the stack of papers. And these have a nice feel to them. Does it say the weight? It doesn't. And I got this last order a while ago. I don't remember if it says in the description on Amazon. And I don't even know, maybe a place like Office Depot or Office Max has something like this in store. I've never looked for it in a store, so I don't know. I've gotten a little too used to the conveniences of Amazon delivery. We're going to have to cut this. So let's measure what these guys are. This is 7 by 10. So if you're using a Reader's Digest book cover, what I'm doing is 7 by 10 when you lay the full page open. So now the thing that you want to be mindful about when you're working with this paper is if I just go ahead, I guess it wouldn't really matter, but when you cut this, you will be losing some of this aging look around the edges. See where it's darker around the edges and lighter in the middle? So sometimes what I will do is I'll cut portions off of each end to balance that way. So we need it 7 high. I just want to take a look at what that will look like. That's not too dramatic of a difference. I'm just going to do that. 7, yeah, that's fine. And then this one is by 10, so let's look there. think that'll be okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that. If you want it different, again, you do you. Seven high. And then we can use these for other scrumptious things. Don't throw them away. It's valuable paper. All right. So we get the last batch. And don't be bashful about asking questions. I mean, I've done this a few times, so sometimes I forget what all of you might find helpful to know. And then we'll fold these. See how that looks. Every time I make a journal, then I always have a hard time letting go of it. I can already feel that. I'm going to do that again. It's just so much fun making them, and then when they all come together, it's just, they're so neat, yummy. We've had some storms in Wisconsin, so I hope everyone else is safe, and been thinking about our friends out west, and hope everyone there with the fires and everything is safe and okay. Kids are going to be back to school here before we know it. This weekend I've got to go college school supply shopping with our son. It's going to be weird. All right. Look at this stack of yummy. We will use these, so don't let it go far. Okay, so now we're going to mix up our pages to how we think we might want them in the journal. So this is erase in that. We'll go this. We'll go that. Okay. I wonder how many signatures I'm going to want. Not sure yet. I think I'll do more than 3 because I don't want it to get too puffy. So these are 3, that's 4. 1, 2. Like dealing cards. Already put one of these there, 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 and I need 2 more then. Okay. Two more. Come on. Oh, for heaven's sake. The dry fingers again, I couldn't get it. Hold on, I'm just going to cut this quick. 7 by 10. Should lay this flat. And that's not working. I'm going to live on the edge a little. Oops. Sorry, that was right in your face. Get out of my way. Okay, so let's organize these signatures. See, if I put more pages in a signature, it would start to alligator mouth a little bit already. But the smaller you make your signatures, yes, you've got to sew more in, and yes, you've got to poke more holes, but your book will lay a little flatter, depending upon how bulky your ephemera pieces are that you're putting into it. We'll do that. We'll do that. There, I like that. So here we'll do that, that, perfect, that, perfect again. And then this one, we'll do that. Now, what did I do that for? Oh my goodness, you guys. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So I don't have an even number here. Let's just see what I got going on here. I somehow have an extra. What you can also do is keep an eye on, as you've sorted your papers, how many lace per, how many ladies do you have per signature? So this one has 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's see what our lady to lace ratio is. Oops. Okay. 7, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And one of them has 8. 3, 4. Nope, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one has 8. So I'm going to take out one of these. There, we're even Steven. Now, 7 per signature. We're going to see how this is going to look in here. And I try to do this like loose, so I get a good sense. That's looking pretty good. So then we've got plenty of space to put our pockets, our belly bands, and all of that fun stuff. So that is what we're going to do in this video for that one. And I'm going to go ahead and prep the pages for the other journal cover, and I'm going to cut out the ephemera pieces also for that other cover, so that we can kind of work on them simultaneously. All right. Thanks again for joining me. I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope that you will feel motivated, I guess, to craft along with us. Even if you're not making this particular journal, if you're making another one or just watching and crafting some other craft, wonderful. Thanks for joining. I hope you have a terrific day.